RetroDaze.
There were so many peculiar things kids could become obsessed with in the 1980s. Now, I'm tempted to suggest our limitless curiosity thrived in a world without the internet, where easy answers to our many questions were not a voice-activated utterance away. But then, that isn't fair to the kids of today who are just as curious and imaginative as we were. Now, sure, they have quicker access to answers, but maybe that stokes the fires of creativity even more. Whatever the reason, as a kid, I would become embroiled in the strangest hobbies and pastimes, and one of the most peculiar was my fascination with rocks. Yeah, rocks.
Stones, pebbles, crystals, fossils, they all held sway over my imagination in a way I still don't quite understand. I'm not sure how or even when this interest took hold, but if I had to guess, I think it had something to do with gift shops. When I was younger, I was an absolute gift shop junkie. Whenever my family went on vacation or my school took us on a field trip, my greedy little heart was set on that magical visit to the gift shop. We're going to the planetarium? Well, I need me some astronaut ice cream. Headed to the zoo? You best believe I'm buying one of those jointed plastic snakes that seem to move of their own accord. At some point, probably on a family trip, I became fascinated with those giant segmented cases with different kinds of rocks and gems. You know the ones. They were, and perhaps still are, pervasive in nearly every gift shop I've ever been to. I haven't the faintest idea why they were such a hot commodity on the vacation circuit, but it was the 80s, and I guess in the absence of high-tech gadgetry, kids got excited about stones? I fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. On one of my many gift shop excursions, I bought an identification card with glued-on rocks next to their names. This particular one was called the Natural Gemstone Collection, Jewels in the Rough. The words natural and rough in this instance referred to the unrefined nature of these particular gem samples. Rather than these smoothly polished rocks, which we'll discuss shortly, these had crevices and jagged edges. Some of my favorite from this collection were apparently ripped right off the card and used for other purposes, perhaps as a rudimentary weapon for He-Man or an obstacle over which my stomper truck would climb. Still, some very cool stones remain intact on the card, like Peridot, Rhodonite, and Tiger Eye. Another of my identification cards was for Stones of the World, which was smaller and had fewer samples. There are also a few duplicates on this one, but can you really have too many agate pebbles? I think not. For those amateur geologists among us looking to rekindle a bit of that old-time gift shop fervor, you'll be happy to note that these kinds of gemstone identification cards are still sold and fairly easy to find on Amazon and other online retailers. While I did love the educational element of the identification cards, if I'm honest, the giant bins of polished, colored stones almost always stole the show. My desire for knowledge evaporated once I saw those gleaming asymmetrical spheres of multicolored rock. Who cares what their scientific names were or what part of the world they came from when you could run your hands through hundreds of those cold-to-the-touch stones? I'd stand there letting the rocks fall through my fingers as I pretended they were a vast treasure of priceless gems from a dragon's hoard. Forget that they had no practical use except maybe to decorate the bottom of an aquarium tank. I wanted them all. Sometimes these bins were segmented by color and type, but other times it was a single giant bin of all the rocks in one place, and clearly those were always my favorite to peruse, like an endless treasure chest. Another interesting bit of stone I'd often buy was mica, which, according to Wikipedia, are a group of sheet silicates characterized by their distinct layered structure and the ability to be easily split into thin, flexible sheets. They're found in various colors and are known for their translucent to opaque appearance with a vitreous or pearly luster. Honestly, I just like the way they looked like thin, layered sheets of sugar that I was constantly in danger of trying to take a bite out of. Perhaps the only thing that trumped the giant bins of colored rocks were honest-to-God crystals. These were usually larger and always more expensive, making them a coveted gift shop purchase. I'd lust after the larger crystals like amethyst, especially when they were split in two to reveal the glorious, shimmering insides. And I'm sorry if that sounded perverse. I usually went for amethyst, but I also liked all varieties of quartz like clear quartz, smoky quartz, and rose quartz. Other common gift shop crystals included citrine, agate, selenite, onyx, and more. Finally, in a category all its own was fool's gold, which is actually iron pyrite. Though I feel like I'd see fool's gold in most gift shops, it was definitely more prevalent if you were visiting an attraction that was Western themed, like Wild West City, Wild West World, OK Corral, or any number of living history attractions. Fool's gold, as the name implies, is worthless, yet we'd still pay good money to fill our tiny suede drawstring bags so we could hang them off our belts like prospectors. Just when we thought we were all rocked out, there's one last bit of stone-adjacent mimicry at the register, and no trip to the gift shop was ever complete without it. I'm talking about that most sought-after of all gift shop confections, rock candy. That's right, different colored and flavored sugar crystals fused to a tiny stick. What a time to be alive! Yet, unsurprisingly, it wasn't an invention of the 1980s. Its first historic mention in ancient India wasn't exactly the rock candy we know today, and rather was used for medicinal purposes. From India, rock candy migrated to other areas such as China, where they employed their skill in the art of confection to create rock candy on a large scale. According to Monique Waldler in her article, The History of Rock Candy, the technique of making rock candy spread to Europe during the Middle Ages, where it was initially used as a medicine to treat ailments such as coughs and sore throats. During the 18th and 19th centuries, rock candy became increasingly popular as a confectionery item. In America, rock candy was particularly popular as a sweetener for lemonade, and was also used to make a variety of other sweet treats such as fudge and taffy. The decorative use of these large sugar crystals, particularly on sticks as we're now used to seeing them, became popular for cocktails, for use in weddings and other special events, and, of course, eye-catching impulse buys at the gift shop. Of course, my fascination with rocks, whether of the stone or candy variety, didn't begin and end with gift shops. Somewhere along the line, maybe in school or from my parents, I learned that inside your everyday rocks, there could be hidden crystals or veins of minerals. The mere notion of hidden treasure lurking beneath the mundanity of stone sparked an idea from which a new activity grew. We've previously discussed street games on the channel, and specifically Stoop Ball, the game where you throw a handball at stoop steps so it would bounce back at you. Well, I started playing Stoop Ball with rocks. My friends and I would scour the neighborhood, the park, the strips of grass, the sidewalk, sparse lawns outside of the apartments, for only the most interesting rocks, preferably unbroken round ones, but we'd occasionally work with other shapes too. The goal was simple. Throw the rocks as hard as we could at the stone steps or cement sidewalk until we cracked them open. You heard correctly. In the days before the internet and cell phones, one of my favorite activities was throwing rocks at the ground. Believe it or not, many times the newly cracked rock would reveal bits of crystal or minerals running through the interior. It was never anything as cool as amethyst, of course, but it was enough to keep us hurling rocks at the stoop like diminutive cave dwellers. We'd sometimes keep the best of these rocks, but after a while my parents made us toss them. Sometime later we completely lost interest in this new game. I don't think there's a kid out there, even now, who can't find at least a little fun throwing rocks at stuff, but it wears thin. We moved on to actual games, electronic or otherwise, but I never lost that childlike fascination with rocks and still have my old gift shop finds to this day.
As strangely nostalgic as this subject is, one cursory look around the internet will reveal a potentially obvious truth. Kids, and adults, are often still fascinated with rocks and crystals. Both remain big sellers and potentially gateways to future careers as geologists. Though even if you remain a hobbyist or crafter, there are all kinds of upgrades to rock collecting that you can invest in, like rock tumblers. Though my early interest in rocks and crystals never became more than a passing phase, I still find myself picking up a unique rock now and then during my walks, if only to inspect it momentarily before chucking it back into the woods. But still, I wonder, was I the only one, or did you also purchase rocks at gift shops? Did any of you get into rock tumbling or go into a rock-related field of study? I would love to hear about it down in the comments. And if you enjoy our content, please consider liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and maybe even activating that ubiquitous notification bell. It really does make a huge difference. Let's meet again next week to celebrate yesteryear, right here on RetroDaze.
Clicky clicky.